This is the Hudson-Nash, or what's left of the Hudson-Nash Plantation, and one of their main businesses that they had was this store. This was actually a store and a post office, and so they would sell dry goods here, like flour and whatnot, and this was the place in Gwinnett County, Georgia, where people would come to get their mail or send their mail out. And originally this building was about half the size, and then I think by that back door there you can see there's kind of a seam. Maybe you can see it, I'm not sure, but there's a seam there where they expanded the building to accommodate the growth of the business. I believe this was built, I want to say like 1830-ish, and across the street, I'm going to turn around here so you can see, that house right there was the original plantation house. So that's not exactly Terra, but this must have been a thriving business at one time for Gwinnett County. So, and actually, if you look down here, like this would have been part of the trees are in the way. Well, there you see the new construction down there. There's all kinds of new houses going in over there, but they've managed to keep the house, which I thought the house was gone, but it's not, thankfully. And this, I'm not sure what that stack of stones was. There's no sign telling me about it, but this was the store. And this porch on the front was apparently very common for stores in that time frame. I'm not sure why. I can imagine though there might have been a barrel of something out on the porch, and people hanging out to share the gossip and find out what's going on, the latest news, and so on and so forth. But you can see it has a stone foundation, and there was a back door there to it. I'm going to go down here and show you some of the other buildings that are left, but you can see they've turned this part of it into a pretty nice little park. So we're going to go on and take a look at the Washhouse. Okay, so we're coming up on the Washhouse here. It's really just a small building. They don't have it open, but I did look through those holes in the side and there's nothing in there. But this was where all the laundry would be done for the plantation. So they would come down here. I guess they would store any of their pots and whatnot that they would use, and maybe come down here to make their soap and whatnot. I can just imagine that there would be a fire going, because you know they had to use a fire to heat the water. And there were probably clotheslines hung out because there was no electricity, so no dryers. And this was all that, where all that was done. From what I can tell, there's nothing here that tells me whether these buildings were moved or not, but I'm thinking that they probably were. Maybe not. I'm not 100% sure. The way that they're spaced out here kind of makes me think they might have moved them, to get everything centralized into the park area. But this building, you see, it's clapboard. It's not real. It's like a shed-like material. It's got a tin roof and just clapboard. There's no insulation. It's just a very primitive door on there. It is locked though. You can't go in it. So, but this is where they did their laundry and their washing. Okay, this building right here. This is a barn that was built by the Nash family. They bought the farm after the Hudsons, and it's not a very big barn, but it's a barn. And some of the material that they used to build this barn, they took probably from other buildings that were maybe falling apart or they didn't need anymore. So I'm going to come up here where you can see inside, and if you look over here, there's a stall there, and look where that window is. It's boarded up, but along the edge there you see how it's uneven. There was probably a horse in there gnawing on that wood. That's what my assumption, a horse or a donkey or something. And then over here you look like there's odd shaped wood holding this door together, and some more gnawing. But that looks like a stair. Oh yeah, okay, so this is a ladder that goes up, and there's the hayloft up there, and this barn goes all the way through. Some of the information that I have on this particular barn, at least on that side, it looked like there used to be, sorry about the shaking camera, there used to be a door that would slide over the edge for more closure, I guess is a way to say it. But this was still basically an open barn with you could go all the way through like a breezeway type of thing. And then here, look, that looks like some sort of a feeding trough to me. I could be wrong about that, but you can see how this is kind of patched together in different spaces where they probably just used what they had available, and some of it is probably deterioration due to age. Now, this barn was actually built in 1939, I believe, so this was a post-Civil War, actually post-World War I even, barn, but some of the material that is in here could possibly have come from buildings that were pre-Civil War. So, and I don't know why they built this barn, but it's interesting how things are just kind of mismatched, but yet it still came out to a functional structure. Okay. Now this is kind of amazing to me that this building has survived. This was actually one of the few surviving slave houses that I have seen in my entire life. And this particular one, according to what this is stated here, was actually expanded. So from this side, this first door that you see here, until a little bit before that second door, was originally one room. And they don't know why this was expanded. There's no documentation on that, but it could have been several reasons. Either at the time of the expansion, the farm was being prosperous, or the family that lived in here may have grown and they needed more room, or it could have been a reward. But notice how very, very plain this is. It has a shake roof, it looks like. There's only one chimney. There's no chimney at this end. There's only one chimney. And then there's about 3 windows, but the windows, there's no glass, of course. That would have been too expensive for a plantation owner to spend money for glass on a slave. It was just not done, I'm sorry to say. But there's 3 windows, so there's one on this end, and then if we go around here, I want to show you the chimney. Unfortunately, these buildings aren't open yet. I guess it's a little early in the year. I'm not sure if they're ever opened, but they're not open, so you can see the inside, but I'm sure that it's very plain. I don't think there's any furniture here. But here's the chimney. It's made out of stone, and it goes up, and there's another window, and so that's 2 windows. And then on the very back of the house, this must have been the original side, and then the other side was added on. On the back of the house, there's 1 more window, but not a lot of light coming in, really. But then again, the time that the people were here, you know, they worked from sun up to sundown, so the house was really the last place they went, mostly just to sleep. And this stone here, there's no marker on this, but this might be a stone to get on a carriage, or it might have been a stone to get into a building. I'm not sure, but looking at it, the way that it's placed, the fact that it's very flat and long, it's about the size of a step. I'm not sure what it is, but it's an interesting thing that it's placed so close to this other building. And like I said, I think some of these buildings were moved. Probably not this one. I'm thinking maybe not, because of the foundation is stone there. I could be wrong about them moving the buildings. I didn't see any information on it. It just seems like they're placed in a way that's kind of strategic. So here's this slave house. You go around and there's the barn. And then you see the sign over there. The Washhouse is right behind that tree. And then the curve and the pathway over there leads up to the post office, and then across the street was the main house. So, and this is really the park. Over there, they're building the neighborhood that I showed you before. That's a little restroom type building for the park, and there's some trash cans, lots of benches, and a small parking lot down there. And it's a small little park, but it's nice and it's quiet and it's clean. And thankfully they've managed to preserve some of these buildings. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. I'm Miss Jenny with, well, Miss Jenny's Cleaning, so we did look at a wash house today. If you want to see more videos from me, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching.